Hey guys, welcome back to the Superman Vault. I so appreciate you watching this video. Hey, let me set the stage for what we're about to talk about today on the only channel dedicated entirely to Superman collectibles. So, the year is 2006. I am 5th or 6th grade. We're on a family vacation in Florida, and we're driving down the coast to our beach house, and I see at the movie theater right there on the marquee, Superman Returns. The first time we've seen Superman on the big screen in my lifetime. And I'm just starting to get into Superman. I'm watching Smallville. I'm reading comic books. So I am pumped. So we go to the theater. I still have the little ticket stub. Walk in, see the movie. Lo and behold, the best Superman ever on screen. Okay, you and I both know that part's a lie. Superman Returns. First off, let me say I'm super grateful any incarnation we get of the character. But Superman Returns has the reputation for not being the best movie ever. But in today's video, we're going to go all through the numerous Superman Returns collectibles that have been produced, unproduced, and if you stay to the end, we're even going to explore some original props used in the movie and some other behind-the-scenes production stuff that you might not see every day. What did I like about Superman Returns? I like that it's a sequel to the Reeve movies. It does kind of carry that legacy. I love Brandon Routh as an actor, nicest guy at Comic-Cons. I just think the writing was kind of poor, very moody, and and of course the whole deadbeat dad narrative. We don't love that. But without further ado, let's jump into some of the best Superman Returns collectibles in my collection. So first off, let's talk about the explosion in Superman merchandise that was produced for this film. So again, this would have been the first time we really saw a bunch of new Superman merchandise hit the market for a long time, because Superman hadn't been on screen. Probably the most recent adaptation would be Smallville, which was going on at the same time, but that wasn't really Superman. Then you had Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher's Lois and Clark New Adventures of Superman. That had wrapped up 7 years prior. So again, this is Superman 2006, when Superman Returns comes out. Not the same landscape that we're used to today of seeing superheroes everywhere. So this movie was a big deal. All kinds of action figures and merchandise tie-ins, Christmas ornaments, lunchboxes, Hot Wheels sets. If you name it, it was probably released for Superman Returns. And the toys, they had that nostalgic feeling to me because I was just a kid and new to collecting Superman when this came out. So I'm always happy to find one that I have never seen before. Speaking of pieces I'd never seen before, I wanted to highlight this one because a good friend, Jerry, just gave this to me in Metropolis, Illinois at the Superman celebration this year. This is a Superman Returns bank where Superman is busting out of the Daily Planet globe. I had never seen it before. He told me he probably got it in the Philippines, so it was probably not likely a piece that was produced here in the States. That's why I had never seen it. Really cool piece, and it was neat that he gifted it to me. So just a really fun piece of merchandise. Another regularly found collectible is this one right here, is the giant 32-inch Superman Returns action figure. One thing to note, these big figs, or the larger size figure format, pretty popular today with a lot of characters, everything from Star Wars to Ninja Turtles to superheroes. Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman did a lot, but this was the first time that I know of that figures were produced in this size format, and this box design. Really cool piece. These are actually kind of tough to find. Expect to pay about $100 on the secondary market. And this here is another piece very near and dear and special to me, as this was a gift from a very, very good friend of mine in the Superman community. Now, this was framed. I recently deframed it because I'm trying to add a couple signatures to it. But this was signed at a press junket in Detroit during one of the premieres of the movie, signed in person by Brandon Routh, Kevin Spacey, Kate Bosworth, Frank Langella, and James Marsden. So a beautiful piece. It will get back up professionally framed. But again, my hope is to add a couple more people to the mix here and really fill this thing up with some beautiful signatures. Now, speaking of posters, this one is not in very good shape, but this is a pretty special piece. This was given only to cast and crew members from the production, which would have been in 2005. But so check that out. It's a giant photo of the shooting crew. Right here, you can see how many people there on the set of the Fortress of Solitude. It was pretty awesome that wasn't CGI, that was an actual physical set. And then you got the art department and Lex Luthor's yacht set. You've got rigging crew. Let's go over to visual effects. Second unit, accounts, transport, production. So everybody's kind of featured here that you wouldn't normally see otherwise. I've never seen another one of these posters. I got it from Actually, the same sources I got one of the props I'm going to show you towards the end of this video, but really neat piece. Okay, we're going to move up in scale now to some of these larger advertising pieces. Now, to be honest with you, if I pulled out every single large Superman Returns advertising piece that I had, we would be here all day because there was a whole lot of them out there. They did a lot of cross promotions, a lot of theater standees, but I want to show you just a couple of the larger pieces that I had out that would have been promotional only. So first off, this behemoth, almost 6 foot tall Superman Returns theater poster, advertising for it being an IMAX. And then over here, I have a very large, this is probably verging 8 to 10 feet wide, this really cool Superman Pepsi display piece. Now, beyond just the hanging sign pieces, I've got quite a few standees over here too that would have been kind of the same idea. So some of these were promotional. So you can see on the right here and right here, you could easily pick these up from the store back in the day. You got Clark Kent right there in all of his glory. And then of course, Superman right over here. The one in between them would have been a Pepsi advertising piece that would have been found at the supermarket. I think there may even be a couple other Superman Returns standees, so you'll have to do a little research. I can't remember right off the top of my head. And then my favorite one right here is just three-sided. Ignore the mess of my little girl and dog in the room next to it there. But this three-sided standee right here, I was in a comic book store, local comic shop years ago when I was in high school. And I walked in, all the comic books were overpriced, but then this beauty was sitting here, and I asked him what it was, thinking there'd be no way, and I kid you not, he wanted 20 bucks for it. So 20 bucks is what I paid for this quite some time ago, but check that out, really cool piece there. So as I mentioned, I probably have another 30 to 40 large Superman Returns promotional items. They're just easier to come by. They made a lot of them. They made a lot of different partnerships with different brands. It was a big deal when it came out in the theaters, but you can get a lot of this stuff relatively affordably. So check on eBay, check on Marketplace, check on Craigslist. Chances are you might find some really cool stuff. I wanted to come back over here to the merchandise wall just to kind of show you a couple pieces here, a little bit more in depth that are pretty cool. But yeah, so first of all, I know we were kind of talking about these action figures here, just tons of action figures. These are kind of stacked all the way back. Couple weird food merchandise items like the lemonade container. You go down and they made everything for Superman Returns. So the Christmas stocking here, we'll go over here. We kind of showed this earlier in the video. The Matchbox set is awesome. Action figures, trading cards. These are kind of weird, these mobile cell phones that were like toy cell phones for kids. Uno games, watches, statues, frisbees, clocks, fast food toys, kryptonite putty, this popcorn container, DVDs from all over the world, video game controllers. Got several autographs. I have a couple of Brandon Routh autographed action figures. I've got different fabric swatches for the costumes. There's a really cool Kate Bosworth autographed trading card. Children's laptop toy, a standee of Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane. Pretty weird if you ask me, but a little bit of everything as you can see. But I kind of want to hone in and show you these ornaments because these ornaments are pretty special to me. So why are these ornaments special to me? So back growing up, as Superman Returns was coming out, I was starting to become a Superman fan. I bought every one of these ornaments and actually a couple different versions of each one. And I had a little Christmas tree in my room that had all Superman Returns ornaments from this particular line. So it was really cool. Eventually I went back and collected them in the box like this. But through the wonders of social media, a couple years ago, I actually met the guy who designed these ornaments. And let me show you something cool. So I had the chance to buy the original artwork designs for the ornament line that I loved so much. So it's just really cool, neat pieces here. You can see the designs and some, the side view, the different views, changes that they wanted to make. I remember that one super specifically because the Christmas light would go into the kryptonite glob there and light it up green. But just really cool. The guy was super nice. Sold these to me for a very fair price. and I'm proud to own them in my collection today. So if you've been following the Superman Vault and you've been subscribed to my channel for any amount of time, which I hope you are, you know that I tend to save the best stuff for the end of the videos, and that's what I've done today. So we're about to jump into a couple original prop pieces from the movie. I mean, there's a couple things that got out easily. Like, you can find a fragment of kryptonite from this movie for generally under $100. There were tons of them made it offset. But there's 3 pieces in particular that I find pretty interesting that I was able to grab. So, do you recognize this from the film? Of course you don't, because it was kind of unassuming. This is an original manhole cover from the city of Metropolis in Superman Returns. So it's made of wood and then painted and designed and aged to look metal. But this is pretty cool. It came from a major auction house that I use pretty normally. But pretty neat piece here. Ironically enough, I have a Metropolis manhole cover from Smallville as well, so I thought it was cool to get one from a different incarnation of the hero, but it's got Metropolis kind of written right around the side there. Just an unusual and unique piece to have in my collection. The second piece is a little bit buried, so I'm not going to go through the trouble of digging it all the way out for this video, but if you can see that crystal in there, that is one of the original set crystals used for the Fortress of Solitude, made of a resin acrylic-like material, and actually strung through with fishing line to help attach it to the set. A really cool piece. That came from a company called Hero Prop, but a pretty neat piece of Superman Returns history. All right, are you ready to see my favorite Superman Returns piece in my collection? Drum roll, please. Boom, right here. This is a really, really unique, unusual piece. So this is one of the original Addis Ababa meteorites used in the movie Superman Returns. So in Superman the movie starting, Lex Luthor finds this meteorite that contains or mentions this meteorite that is supposedly a piece of the doomed planet Krypton, which contains kryptonite in it. Superman Returns recycles this concept, and this meteorite is in the museum. Lex Luthor stages a car crash that Superman is distracted so that he can break into the museum and steal this meteorite to gain access to kryptonite. Now, I had thought and I had hoped that this was the exact one used on screen. And though it still might be, it's more than likely a production backup, and let me tell you why. Though it screen matches perfectly, when you hold it at the right angles, you can see it. I mean, it looks dead on. There are no mounting holes, and I always thought that was unusual because in the scene, it's in a museum exhibit where it looks like it's floating almost. Now, one came for auction a couple years back that was the exact same thing, exact same mold, everything, only it had a couple mounting brackets to it. So I'm guessing the one I had, which came directly from studios in Australia, is probably the backup, and the one at auction was probably the Hero Prop one that was screen used. However, I'm still super happy to have it. I think it's a cool piece. Hopefully you do too. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in Superman collectibles. Check out that lineup behind me there. There's future videos coming on all of them. Check out what I've got. Make sure you're subscribed for things to come. Thanks so much, guys.